I think the where it is what's so central to it, though. It's a block up from the old jail, and it's near where it happened. We it just seems the most appropriate, I guess,
It's more authentic.
to have it be there. We have worked with the chamber and Visit Duluth. We're on them in their books and on their maps now. We weren't the first year, so we're there. It just seemed like, we could put it in Hermantown. We could put it out somewhere nice, but let's not sugarcoat it. I think it's more real being there. I don't know. There's probably better arguments than that, but that's mine.
I think it's true to the experience of the location, and the authenticity is making it a real piece, real place to see. And some of those buildings were there at the time. As a history person myself, not that I enjoy envisioning, but I do take something in by knowing that some of those buildings were present at that time, and it's a historic site. Location may not be ideal, but I think that's part of it too. I think that adds to the experience. And it's good for people to see downtown.
Is the curriculum that you guys have in front of you right there, is that something that's going to be used in schools anytime soon? Like how, if not, how close would it be?
We are working on it this year. We really are a small subcommittee, the education committee, and this was the last published piece, the discussion guide. And we spent a huge chunk of our time working on a race relation open forum discussion at PBS, and the final stages of the editing are going through. We hope that will air on PBS locally here next month or by May at the latest. So because of our numbers, that took a huge amount of energy as well. This is our project this year to tackle.
What ages, what are we focusing on? Like how young of a age group would be appropriate for that content?
My own personal reaction, but I come from kind of a boxed-in viewpoint within our district, but this curriculum is usually usually linked with the lynchings taking place in our 9th, 10th grade, that topic of the lynching being in our 9th, 10th grade classes. So it's, I think that will be our focus, but I don't know, because the committee will have to sort of decide, are we focusing on the Duluth curriculum first and then try and make it broader, or are we going to try and speak broadly at first? There's new standards that are out in education, and so now is an ideal time to link this curriculum to the new standards that are out in our state, or just to go right ahead and link it to the national standards, or both.
Is that curriculum a piece of a larger unit on racism in general, or of that portion of history?
Great question. We haven't decided that yet. Where is this going to go?
Well, it's really like the start of the monuments. I mean, truly, you sit down and you kind of hammer these things out with the group, and I would love to see a present connection, and I happen to teach sociology too, so I'd love to see a connection there, and then, with English and.
I was going to ask you if now that the memorial is done, in its current state, what are you focused on? Have you changed your focus?
Yes. Well, the curriculum is one of them. We have a goal of working with a major organization in the city of Duluth to work on how they deal with race. As we try to bring, as people of color come into our community, how are they accepted? What's the business climate like? What's the work climate like? If you're the only person of color in an organization, what's it like there? Stuff like that. So we have, that's another goal. It's a curriculum, and then working with an organization, and we selected the Chamber of Commerce as our group we want to work with. Continuing the education of the community, we try to be out there in the community and hear from people about what's going on, and then if there's a way we can get that out to the public, we have a goal of writing to the Duluth News Tribune once a month, kind of an op-ed kind of a thing about what's going on. So we're doing those kinds of things. Oh, and raising money. We have a goal of providing at least one scholarship a year to a student graduating from high school to go on to college. And so last year we did $1,000 for a student who happens to be up here at UMD. And so we're doing some of that and the curriculum. Those are things that we sort of all kind of got pushed aside so we could get the memorial in place. And it's taken us about a good year to shift gears. That was such a focus for us. And we just started doing some downtime, but now these are other things that we want to do as we continue. I mean, as you heard Perry talk about, I'm sure we want to bring the truth to light, and the truth today that racism is alive and well. We are, if you come, you'll hear us talking about this concept of white privilege, which is so important for us all to recognize how our life is so privileged just because of our color. The things we don't have to worry and think about every day. If we want to talk about race some days, we can, but we don't have to. People of color have to deal with it every day. Anyway, so some of those kinds of things we're doing.
As you're broadening into racism in general, are you basically dealing with African American white relations, or is that effort
Good question. We are broadening. Yep. We may have an op-ed piece supporting the American Indian Commission call for a police review board in the next couple of days. But yes, definitely in our first goings on, we were seen as black-white, and we definitely want to go beyond that.
I think for the curriculum, this is just my own 2 cents, so it's not even, part of that process yet, but it would be so important to include pieces that we could use just in discussions within our community in the curriculum. And one would be not only you're looking at this event that happened here, but how can we relate that to what's going on today and the subtleties of racism and what we see in our schools, our interactions with friends. And we have the choice, like Dick said, we have the choice with our skin color to be involved or not involved. But when you listen to personal stories, and I feel, again, so humbled and privileged to be a part of the process of the committee because their stories were so, the stories that everybody shared were amazing. And it opened up my eyes a lot to racism. And it's an ongoing process, learning process.